This is a much more serious video. I'm going to get right into it because this is the turning point. We are at the beginning of the bull run. I've been following this market closely. I got into crypto about 4 years ago, amidst the last bull run. I rode that whole cycle down. I've been stacking up over the last 3 years, and I've been following markets very closely. And we are at the turning point. We are either days away, if not weeks away, from the market exploding. We are entering what will probably be the largest transfer of wealth within our entire lifetime. I'm not talking about the next decade. I am talking about an opportunity that we are only going to get now, and this opportunity will probably never exist at this scale for the rest of our lives. And you have the opportunity to own block space in what is going to be the future of the internet, the future of global digital international business. You can essentially own market share, block space of the future of tech. We're talking the future of Google's, the future of Facebook's, the future of everything, the future underlying currency of the world. And you're getting it at a discount because it's a whole lot easier to be first. If you're first, you get market share at a much cheaper price than if everyone already knows about it. What are the signals? Why is it screaming at me, bull run, bull run, bull run? And why am I so confident that we are entering this over the next couple of weeks? The reason why is because we live in an economy that is controlled by monetary policy. What that means is that whatever the policy is what the market does. If we print money, put it in the market, prices are going to go up. And along with prices come narrative, consumer confidence, and adoption. And these cycles have been running consistently every 4 years, and we've just begun the next one. And it all begins with the Federal Reserve announcement that just came out this last week, where they announced the first big rate cut. Now, the reason why this is so significant is because the first rate cut they did was 0.5 basis point. What this means is that the Federal Reserve is going to be extremely aggressive over the next 6 months through this easing cycle, where they debase the purchasing power of the US dollar, they decrease the cost of borrowing money, and they increase liquidity, they increase the M2 money supply. There's more money in the space, there's more money being transferred hands. This is when tech, new business products, services flourish. So there's a couple of factors that impact the Federal Reserve and their monetary policy. One of those factors is inflation. They essentially want to see 2% inflation. That's what's important to the Fed. Right now, as our last meeting, recent data showed that inflation was at 2.2%. Now, what you need to understand is that the inflation is going to continue going down because of the recent hiking cycle that we went through. So even with this 0.5 basis point decrease, we're going to see inflation continuing to go down below 2%, which is going to increase the Fed's confidence and their ability to ease policy further, drop interest rates further, increase M2 money supply further, bring prices up further. Now, the markets are priced based on expectations. So when this expectation of the people and consumer confidence goes up, people then in turn buy more assets and have more money to purchase goods and services. So we are at the breaking point, and since this recent rate cut, we have seen crypto beginning to take off in what's going to become the next bull run cycle. So if we do some chart analysis here, the rate cut was, it was a couple days ago, this last week on Wednesday. So since Wednesday, we've seen everything move in the trajectory we want it to go. We see Bitcoin approaching its $70,000 benchmark. When it breaks 70 grand, we're going to the moon. We see Solana starting to hit its $200 benchmark. We see AVAX popping up. We see Aptos, a project that I'm very excited about, really beginning to take off here. And if we correlate it to the previous cycle, in 2020, this was during COVID, we see the Federal Reserve cut rates drastically, right? Well, how did the market respond to that? If we look at Bitcoin in 2020, this is where we were. We were right here. And as soon as the Fed began introducing the fact that they're going to ease policy, prices took off. And we're going to see the very same response over the next coming weeks, days, months, one of those three. And this is an opportunity. We see a fear to greed index. A week ago, we were in the orange. Today, we're in the yellow. If we enter the green, Bitcoin's 75K plus. Easily. Prices, yeah, we are entering the largest transfer of wealth. The altcoin market is going to go nuts. We are going to have 20x gains, 50x gains, maybe even 100x gains. If we get really lucky, maybe we hit something ridiculous. We live in a monetary controlled system, and the policy that is initiated is where markets go. The Federal Reserve, their job is to do two things. Make sure that unemployment metric, and they look at inflation. They want inflation to be around 2%, and they want unemployment to be down, essentially. And by easing policy, that creates more employment opportunities, more money in the market, more jobs. However, that increases inflation. Inflation debases purchasing power, increases the cost of goods and services, lowers our standard of living. And inflation has been a big problem. And it's going to continue becoming a problem because they have to refinance their debt payments every 4 years. The big banks have to do this since 2008, which is why Bitcoin was created in the first place. This is the future. The future of the internet is going to be on the blockchain. And I am capturing as much market share of these digital companies, these digital decentralized organizations, and I'm going to accumulate as much market share before it's adopted by the entire world. And by doing that, you are going to absorb majority market share of the future capital of the world, or the future currency, the future capital, the future power system, the future dollar. And this is happening in real time. This is happening today. This is my last warning. I'm serious about this. I got the money shades off. I don't really even know what to talk about. So just comment, give me some concerns, some questions, why you don't think this is going to happen. Question my thinking, question my processing. This video ain't that interesting. This is just my final call out to all of you guys. So you have the opportunity to make the buys at these prices, because we're probably never going to see these prices ever again. Good luck to you all.